What is up, guys, and welcome back to an episode. Today I'm going to be reacting for, I think, the first time to this channel right here, Geography Now. Now, I'm going to be reacting not, just because I'm Finland is right above Estonia and I live in Estonia, but I'm going to show you right now in the map. So, okay, map. There we go. So, okay, so we got this. Okay, let me just. There we go. So, by the way, this is in Russian because I'm not a big fan of Estonia right now. So, I live right here. Like, you see, this is where I live, Volga. So, I live very south in Estonia, almost the most southern point in Estonia, but I think the most southern point in Estonia is Punsa. So, yeah, I'm still learning the Estonian language though, because I've been living here for. I first moved to Estonia from Bulgaria in a flight that I think went something like this or like this. I don't know how it went. So yeah. Okay. Whatever. We don't care about that right now. So, without further ado, let's get into this reaction.
Finland.
Okay. Wait. What is that?
Finland.
What does that mean? That looks so familiar. I don't know.
Let's talk about this place that I totally have no preconceived biases towards.
It's time to learn geography.
No! Hey everybody, I'm your host Barbie. Welcome to the Dark Sheep of...
So his name is Barbie. Nice. Wait. I think that's something in Italian. Beardman, I think it means. I'm not sure.
Northern Europe. All the other Nordic countries are like la 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 la, while Finland is like
I actually watched the Norway episode, and it's like totally the opposite. They were like all the other Nordic countries, la 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 la, and Norway is this.
We'll get into the heavy metal.
I mean, yeah, if you guys have heard about, if you guys know the group of Sleeping Sun, I don't remember how the band was called. Nightwish. They're actually from Finland. And they have something to do with Bulgaria because the guy who helped them play the instruments is actually from Bulgaria. I think his name was Peter something, but I forgot. Petar something, so I don't know what it was. Let's just continue.
Metal thing in a bit. But first,
Okay.
now just remember, Finland is Nordic, but don't...
Wait. I didn't know this was still Finnish. I thought that was ceded to Sweden, but I guess I was wrong.
call it Scandinavian. There's a huge difference. That title only...
I think Scandinavian is only Sweden. I just say that Sweden is only Scandinavic. I didn't even know that there was more.
It belongs to Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. First of all, Finland is located in northern Europe, lying on the Gulf of Finland and the Gulf of Bothnia, east of all that Scandinavian stuff. To the west, they border Sweden on the Torne River, or the Tornionjoki, until it reaches...
Okay, let me just see if that's how it's pronounced. Okay, I don't know Finnish too well, but most of my Estonian does come from my Finnish because it's a very bad level. So, yeah.
The tri-point border with Norway at the three-country Cairnstone. And to the east, they border big ol' Russia with another tri-point border with Norway that looks like this.
Big old Russia, yes. And these territories here belong to Finland. But I know if any Finnish people out there are watching this, there is no... I mean, it is okay right now, these territories to just be to Russia. Because there, almost everybody there, except the castles, I think, no. Huom no, I don't know. But, like, I don't know what. You know, it's just, I mean, like, most of the Russian population, let's say a lot, because not all of the Russian population lives there, is almost everybody there is Russian. There might be some Finns, like, right here, for example, and some Norway dudes right here, but still, even if they are ceded back to Finland, because the people there would be Russian, they might get up a revolt for these territories to be given to Russia again, and that might lead to a war against Russia and Finland. But if the Russian population somehow outs from that area, I don't know how that might happen, and is replaced with Finns and Norways, then they could be ceded back. With my details, because for me, that's how it happens.
This. The country is divided into 19 regions, or maakunta, with
Maakunta. I think that's how you pronounce it. Maakunta. And dang, Helsinki is a very small region.
the autonomous region that we'll talk about a little bit later, and the capital of Helsinki, located in the south on the Gulf of Finland, which is also the second most northern capital in the world after Reykjavik, Iceland.
Wait, but isn't Helsinki on the same level as Stockholm? Isn't it on the same level as Oslo? I think these. So basically, Stockholm is like right here. Oh, Helsinki is a little bit more north, but a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna look a bit. What is that? There we go. But Oslo is like right here. You can even see some city points. It's right here. So I don't know if that could be the most northern capital in the world. Wait a minute. Wait, where is Nuuk? Nuuk, though. The Greenland's capital, I think, is right here, though. So that's higher than Reykjavik. I don't know. Well, let's just continue.
The country
We're getting way too out of Finland.
also owns about 180,000 islands, the highest.
I didn't know that. I thought that's how many lakes they owned. Because, like, look at how many lakes it has right here. Like, even Russia has some big lakes. Dang, that lake's almost as big as Estonia.
Concentration of which found in the Baltic off the coast and in the Old Minor parts of Finland also lie within the Arctic Circle. That's how far apart they are. And the three busiest airports are Helsinki,
Helsinki. The Estonians sometimes call it Helsinki, while the Bulgarians call it the same way. I don't know.
Oulu, and Rovaniemi.
Wait, Oulu and Rovaniemi are different cities? I, to be honest, didn't know that.
Now my favorite part, territorial anomalies! First of all, with Russia, there are too many split islands and penne enclaves, the islands of Aikaniemi and Sursa.
Oh my gosh. Aikaniemi. Oh my gosh, how did I just pronounce that? Aikaniemi Sursari. Oh my gosh, 3 A's. Sursari.
Tarasin-Sari Islands
Tarasinsari. I think that's how you pronounce them.
and lakes, the island in the Koitajoki River.
Okay.
Seriously, just play around with Google Earth and see how many you can find. Finally, we get to Sweden and things get interesting. Most of the borders with Sweden run along rivers that eventually flow into the Torne River, and then we get a strange golf course that is split between the two countries in the town of Tornio.
Tornio. No. My Swedish is how a bit better than Finnish, but still it's not the best. I only know jag talar inte svenska, which means I don't speak Swedish and a few more words. I really need to work on my Estonian, Finnish, and Swedish. I'm just an embarrassment. I've been living in Estonia for such a long time. A few months, but still I'm an embarrassment.
And Sweden. Not only that, but then you have the strange Market Island.
Market. Not market. Market.
Right next to Åland in the Gulf of Bothnia, which has an inverted S-shaped border. It had to do with the lighthouse that was built belonging to Finland, but then Sweden was like, hey, it's too close to our side of the island.
What? That's not true. So basically, during Finland's occupation of Russia, if you guys didn't know, Russia had occupied Finland for, I think 200 years. No, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of history right here, but I am a big fan of history otherwise. And, so this island belonged to Sweden, but the Russians wanted to build a lighthouse, but they didn't, build it on the correct island and accidentally placed it on Swedish territory. And when the Swedish found out, they just made that S-shaped border, which you're gonna see in a minute.
So they drew a border that was like this to...
Yeah. So basically, the Russians landed here, and this is kind of the same size. I mean, like this wall, also the border runs right here and not right here. So yeah. And then that yacht is almost like it's literally gonna pass in Sweden. No, that's Finland.
Give each side equal shares of the land. See this archipelago cluster of islands right here? Yeah, it belongs to Finland, even though most of the people here speak Swedish.
There you go. That's a reason that Sweden might attack Finland, but still. I mean, yeah, okay, so Åland, because the A with the O on the top is actually pronounced as U. I know Swedish a bit. Åland is like a very big dispute between Finland and Sweden. That kind of has to do with why those two countries kind of hate hate each other. Like they have neutral status, let's say it like that. Since you know, but this partly had to do because during the Russian territory here still was Russian. I don't know when exactly this was ceded to Finland or Russia. I just don't know. Okay, let's continue.
Swedish. Åland is Finland's strange
Åland.
little administrative anomaly. Long story short, it used to belong to Sweden, but then the Russians took over it in addition to Finland. Then after the Russian Revolution, Finland became free, and then the UN decided...
The UN did not exist until almost 100 years later. No, not 100 years later. A lot. Maybe like, what, 70 years later. That's when the UN formed. What do you mean? The UN didn't form before before World War II. It formed after World War II. And I think France and Britain were the great powers back then, so they decided that just belonged to Finland since it... I mean, like, Swedish people do go there pretty often. I haven't been in Sweden or Finland. I have only been in Latvia, Bulgaria, Macedonia, blah blah blah, and yeah.
Åland should belong to Finland with autonomy. But then the Soviets started attacking again, and then Finland was like, nope, and then fought back relentlessly, defending themselves and Åland, and Sweden just kind of sat there and didn't really do much for Åland as they decided to stay neutral.
Well, Sweden and Switzerland, not only that their names sound really strange, and they have a special point at the demilitarized zone in between North Korea and South Korea. Literally, their base is right next to each other, Sweden and Switzerland. But also, one thing they have in common, together with Liechtenstein and a few other countries, is that they remain neutral a lot. Like the last time I remember Sweden was at war was during their war with, I think it was so the Swedish occupation of Estonia. If you guys didn't know, yes, the Swedish had occupied Estonia for a pretty short while. But the Estonians did manage to kick them out eventually, and eventually the Russians... No, actually the Russians came out and kicked the Swedes, and eventually Estonia became Russian for a long time until 1919, I think it was. 1990. No, yes, 1990. 1919, I think it was. Or 1923. I have to revive.
Finland defending Åland was kind of like the turning point. Now it's kind of like, Åland! Come back to me! Look, Sweden, we had some great times, but you kind of really didn't do much for me when things got crazy. I mean, Finland defended me, okay? And he treats me well, okay? His tax incentives are great.
I wouldn't say they treated them well. I mean, yes, of course they do treat them well. What am I talking about? But still, I mean, unless the Finnish didn't defend themselves didn't defend themselves to protect Åland. So... I don't know why they say it Åland. It's actually Åland, not Öland. If you go on Duolingo, you'll literally see it. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. What was I gonna say now? Yeah. So basically, even if the Russians had advanced into there, it's less likely. I mean, like, the Soviet Union only wanted because the Finnish territory was way too close to St. Petersburg, and they just attacked. And also, Finland had territories right, like in the north, where is modern day Norway Russian border. So, yeah, okay, let's continue now.
It's time to move on. It's not me. It's you. Åland.
I mean, Sweden has the most islands in the world. It's not Greece, it's not Indonesia, it's these boys here. They own like more than 13,000 islands, and Greece only owns about 2,000 islands. It's like Estonia almost owns the same amount of islands as Greece does.
Also, Finland kind of threatened that if Åland was ceded back to Sweden, they would demand the Tornio Valley. Now, before the whole Soviet thing, Finland operated the regions of Karelia, Sala...
Oh. Yeah, so this was what I was talking. No. Yeah, this is where St. Petersburg is, and these are the territories that Finland had before the war. And even if the Russians did advance here, it's less likely they would be able to advance because the Finnish territory is so cold, even for the Soviets, it's way too cold, and it's less likely they would have actually reached Poland.
Kusamo,
But
Petsamo, and
but still, but still that wasn't impossible because they could sail by navy to Poland. Then ships might run out of oil. Who knows?
some extra islands in the Gulf. After the wars with the Soviets, these regions were all ceded back to Russia, effectively cutting off their access to the Arctic Ocean. Very quickly, some notable sites and landmarks would have to be the old castles like Savonlinna, Hämeenlinna, Olavinlinna, and the most renowned
Oh, when I said Huomenlinna, earlier,
old castles like Savonlinna, Hämeenlinna,
yeah, I meant Hämeenlinna. So yeah.
Olavinlinna, and the most renowned Suomenlinna.
Suomenlinna means Finnish castle because Linna means castle / fortress, while Suomen means Finnish. So that's cool. Finally, something you guys know from me in Finnish.
You can probably guess what Lina means by now. Rovaniemi is otherwise known as the home of Santa Claus, where you
Rovaniemi. That's how you say it.
can go reindeer sledding. Inari and Ivalo is where you can get a real Sami traditional cultural experience. Of course, Helsinki is the epicenter of
Helsinki.
Finnish architecture and culture, with landmarks such as the Tampeli Aukea Church excavated into a rock, Mannerheim Street, the busiest road with all the shops and austere post-Soviet influenced blocky colonnaded buildings, or the iconic Helsinki Cathedral. Now those are all great, but Finland isn't really much of a tight metropolitan type of country. They love their space and have quite a bunch of it. See what lies outside these cities, shall we?
Oh no, when that's coming in, like, what? How 2 seconds?
Albion Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write your own.
Shut up.
Now,
You can write your own stories. What do you mean?
if you want me to make this simple, some would argue that Finland is the best winter wonderland in the world. I mean, Canada's cool, but they have too many bears,
There's barely even any life in northern Canada.
and Iceland is too explodey, and Russia is too cold.
Russia's not cold. The Caucasus, it's way hot. It's very. I mean, yeah, despite that time when the Ottomans tried to attack, but we're talking about that later. I mean, like, the Russians, they're like almost, one part of them is literally on the same level as Finland, so Russia's pretty much, I think, a better wonderland. But still, Finland has more, like, they don't really have that much mountains, but still they do have a lot of more cool things to do in the winter.
Seriously though, the land is generally flat except in the north by the border with Norway, in which the highest mountain can be found, Mount Halti, although the peak is in Norway. However, in 2017, Norway plans to give Finland the peak for their 100th
That plan actually failed. So when is this video launched? I think so. That's 2016. So the Norwegians were like, gonna give it, but I'm not sure if it's actually true or not, but I think they actually did not give it to them. So, unfortunately, that's how your own brothers are gonna treat you. Your own Nordic brothers that you love so much.
anniversary of independence from the Soviets. Finland is just wonderfully crisp and
They didn't declare independence from the Soviets, they declared independence from the Russians.
refreshing, usually ranking in the top 3 countries in the world with the cleanest air quality. This is partially because Finland is almost 80% covered in forest, one of the highest concentrations per square kilometer in the world, only behind countries like Gabon and Suriname. This
Wait, where was Gabon? Oh, yeah, sorry.
makes Finland the largest producer of wood in the EU and one of the top in the world. Not only that, but Finland has about 188,000 lakes, most heavily concentrated in lakeland, and in addition to lakes, about 10% of the country is comprised of all water bodies like rivers, ponds, and streams. When mixed with the land, this makes about 1/3 of the country home to swamps and bogs, making it the highest wetland proportion country in Europe and disputably the world. Maybe, but our floods are crazier. Fittingly,
Wait, what? Really? I don't know Bangladesh had some. By the way, who's Bangladesh and why do I want to bang him? Ha! April Fools! By the way, happy April Fools.
the name for swamp in Finnish is suo, and the word for Finland is suomi. I mean, technically,
Suomi.
they also have like 9 other words for swamp, like rame, neva, leto, luhta, laiteko, apa, paisa, yanka, and
Lahteko.
korpi. And they like rame, neva, leto, luhta, laiteko,
Wait, what did
apa,
you pronounce that?
paisa.
Whoa, pronounced it wrong.
Janka, and Korpi.
Balsa.
And they love these swamps. One Finnish pastime is jumping in the mud, sometimes naked, and either playing soccer or wrestling. The landscape of Finland is shaped that way because
That's kind of bad.
imagine what happens.
Wow, I did not know ice in Finland could be that thick. Like here in Estonia, I mean, when I was in Bulgaria, the ice was barely even thick. It was like around my pink. That's about how thick the ice was, and I barely even broke it. I managed to walk on it though.
When you crush
So when a Bulgarian, because Bulgaria is so south from Finland, it's like almost impossible for Bulgaria. It's impossible for Bulgaria to get this much, ice. Even the water, I mean, like even the rivers don't freeze. It's very rare for a river to freeze. Even a pond is very rare to freeze. I mean, they do freeze up over winter. There was even this joke: one policeman with a police car instructed how to drive on ice, and he literally just drove on a giant ice, and somehow his car didn't crack inside the lake. But I need to find that joke, and I'm probably gonna share it in the link, unless I can find it. That was a long time ago, like maybe 2 years ago. Big long time ago. Okay, let's just continue. What am I?
something under a heavy glacier for a really long time, and then after the glacier melts, you're left with pockety erosion and mineral residue all over. Not only that, but Finland is experiencing a post-glacial rebound in which the land is steadily rising along the coast of the Gulf of Bothnia. Every year, Finland gains about 7 square kilometers and is technically rising out of the sea. The longest river is the Kemijoki that passes through Lapland and reaches the Gulf of Bothnia. And the largest lake, as well as the 4th largest in Europe, Lake Saima, is located in the southeast. Because Finland is so far north, they are known for being the land of the midnight sun, as during summer you can literally see the sun for 24 hours a day in the...
Yeah, that's only in the south part though. That's, you can even see my face is red because of this. That's only in Helsinki. The sun sometimes never goes down for days on end.
Northern parts by the Arctic Circle. And of course in the winter times there's hardly any sunlight at all, but if you're...
Yeah, true. But in Helsinki then the thing kind of changes up and becomes normal.
lucky, you can witness an aurora borealis, especially in the northern parts. Oh, and by the way, the national animals are the whooper swan and the brown bear. Finnish agriculture is, of course, very standard for northern European countries. Lots of rye wheat, turnips, potatoes, and of course, fishing is huge out here. However, due to the abundance of lakes and rivers, Finns prefer their own domestic freshwater fish like perch, zander, and miuku as opposed to the sea fish. Speaking of which, coming to Finland, chances are you will eventually try reindeer meat in some shape or form, whether in stew or grilled. In Lapland, you might even find bear on the menu. You can try mami, a pudding made of rye, and of course, every Finn will make every visitor try the strong, salty salmiakki. They love
Wait.
salmiakki so much that they made it into an ice cream, and it's so good, and I'm so mad they don't sell it in my hometown. Oh, yeah,
I'm so mad they don't sell it in Estonia. Wait, actually, I don't know. I'm gonna see maybe the next day if there is this kind of thing. I'm probably gonna order it if there isn't. Like, I just so seriously want to try out their chocolate and Nordic chocolate, you know, Swedish stuff.
in the wintertime, they build...
Oh, I know this hotel. I forgot how it was called though. I've written a lot about it. It's basically like melts. I don't know if I'm mistaking this with one Swedish one, but like it melts down in the summer and then is rebuilt back in the winter. I don't know if I'm making this wrong with this. There was one Swedish not too close from not too far away from Finland and Norway, but still I'm not sure.
Ice hotels, and there's like this cool waterfall in the Paraatisikuru area in the Uru Kekkonen National Park. Okay, let's talk about Finnish people.
That's some really nice Finnish shirt. I gotta be honest, this is the closest to a Finn.
Okay, if you go to Finland, you will most likely experience a rather intense yet intriguing social construct. First of all, the country has about 5.5 million people and is the
5.7. 5.7 is the population. Wait, actually, by these days, I mean 2019 or 2018, their population is around 5.7 to, yeah, around 5.7. It's grown a bit with 200,000 people.
the most sparsely populated country in the EU. The country is about...
Okay, so I am a big English student, but I do not know a lot of English, so I don't know what sparsely means. So let's see what it means. Oops, no. There we go. So we're gonna go for English, Estonian. Where's Estonian? There we go. So sparsely. There we go. Okay.
About 90% ethnically Finnish, about 6% are
9%,
Swedish, and the rest is made up of everything else under the sun, like Russians, Estonians, Asians,
Wait, I thought. Oh, okay.
and Africans.
I understand now.
They use the euro as currency, they use the type CEF outlets, and they drive on the right side of the road. Of course, the Finnish people speak the Finnish language, which is arguably one of the hardest languages on earth to learn.
French grammar, Finnish grammar, English grammar, Sweden. Dude, Sweden grammar is very hard. I mean, like, for me it's kind of easy, but still. Okay. Italian grammar, French grammar, German. Oh, Turkish grammar is very hard. Polish is actually very easy if you're from the Eastern Slavic nations. Icelandic grammar, Finnish grammar, yes. Dang. I never actually learned Finnish too much. I'm probably gonna start learning. Why should I learn Finnish when I'm learning like what 5 languages?
Conjugation is a mess. Nouns and adjectives have inflectionary forms, whatever that means. Nonetheless, Finland has one of the best schooling systems in the world. In Finland, school hours are shorter.
Dang, they use tablets, and in Estonia we don't use tablets. We only use computers here in Estonia.
Less homework is given, and there are virtually no mandated standardized tests.
Wait,
School hours are shorter, less homework is given, and there are...
Dang, I want to go to Finland. I mean, like, I heard in Slovenia, I don't know if this is true or not, my friend went to Slovenia, and he said that his friend only studied for 5 minutes in the whole school day, and 30 whole minutes he didn't study. He was in a break. So, I don't know if this is true, but now that I hear this about Finland, I might consider... This was in Slovenia, by the way. I think it was Maribor, I don't know.
Virtually no...
That kid's just looking at you. He's like, oh, hello, I'm going to go destroy your face.
mandated standardized test apart from the exam you take in your final senior year of high school. Also, if you get your PhD, you have the option to get a sword and a top hat along with your diploma. This is also why Finland is one of the most English-friendly countries in Europe. Children are
Estonia is the second one.
taught around ages 9 to 11, and most people of the younger generation can at least hold an impressively fluid conversation. Finland is actually a conscription country in which all men ages 18 and up are required to serve either in the military or civilian services anywhere from
Yeah, I take my words back about going to Finland.
165 days to a year, depending on the type of service.
That's almost the same time as Switzerland. I know that in Switzerland, the men must serve 176 days. 176 days in the army. While in Estonia, it's not needed, I think.
Was applied for. Åland Islands are exempt from the military conscription,
The German Shepherd.
but are required to serve in some kind of institution like the Coast Guard or civil services. Finnish culture is actually pretty funny. The stereotype is that Finns are incredibly quiet and don't talk that much in most public transactions. Just mind your business and no small talk. The cartoon Finnish Nightmares illustrates this concept pretty well. Check it out. Which is funny because Finland is huge on the boisterous, loud, and flashy heavy metal culture, having the highest concentration of heavy metal bands out of any other country in the world.
No, I don't know where's Nightwish.
With nearly 650 per 1 million.
Nightwish, this is Nightwish. Nightwish. I love their songs.
Residents. Finns also invented the wife carrying competition, in which a man must carry either his wife or girlfriend or any girl that agrees to get tossed around in an obstacle course, and the winner gets the women's weight in beer. It's very strategic because if you want to win, you might want to carry a lighter wife, but if you want more beer, you better do your squats, bro. Now, if you must know one thing about Finnish culture, you have to know about sauna. The Finns invented the sauna. Most homes, hotels, and apartments have a sauna built into them. They actually had a sauna competition at one point, but then a Russian guy died and they had to kind of cancel it. Overall, though,
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Finns are kind of brought up in a mindset known as sisu. It's kind of hard to explain the exact definition of it, but it kind of means something like guts or determination and never giving up, which really helped them along the fight with the Soviets. Sisu is to Finland what Jantaloen is to Denmark. There are so many other things I wish we could talk about, but we're running out of time. But we do have time for friend time! Historically, Finland was kind of always a little lonely. I mean, few, if any, trading routes ever went through this area. Even the Mongols were like, we're good, nah, yeah, carry on. Nonetheless, over time, Finland did develop relations, and to this day is one of the most diplomatically outreached countries in the world. I mean, the Finnish passport is the #1 ranked and most sought after, as it has the highest number of visa-free countries applied to it. First of all, Finland generally gets along with other Nordic countries. However, they have the biggest frenemy relationship with Sweden. They'll trade and share a beer or two, but when hockey season comes, the bloodbath begins. When it comes to Russia, Finland kind of has to be their friend because Russia has the longest border with them and business is important. Nonetheless, Russia is kind of seen as like the next door neighbor that you once got into an argument with, but then you kind of fixed things up, but then you kind of really didn't get over it, and then you have to see them every other day in the morning as you go to work. Germans are always welcome in Finland, and Hungarians are like the long-lost distant cousins that they just discovered and are trying to build a relationship with. Their best friends, though, might be Estonia and Norway.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Norway. It's like the Cameroon of...
Yeah, Estonians and Swedes. Now, personally, the relations with Estonia and Finland are partially because of the cheap Estonian alcohol. Because in Finland, alcohol is so expensive that they just come to ferry boats. I think that's around less than a day to Estonia, get up all whatever they want, like beer, I don't know what, and just bring it back to Finland. And boom, you got yourself some free beer. You don't have to pay 3 million euro for a single beer.
Of Europe. Norway has never had any controversy with Finland, and with the recent mountain gift proposal, relations are only strengthened. Estonia is like...
Okay, seriously. I wish in Viber there was like a mode where it says that this person is recording and do not disturb, for example.
The nagging little sister that tries to imitate her bigger brother. I mean, they both even have the same national anthems, but in the end, they are...
Wait, really? Mame in... Wait, what does mame mean in Finnish? If it means something at all. Where is Finnish? I've never... I think that's how you say... No, let's see, Estonian. I think that's... Meirik. Oh, that's cool. Okay, now I'm gonna show you guys in English because I know that almost none of you are Estonian, so in English. Our country. Yeah, that's what it means.
Their family, and Finland always loves her. In conclusion, Finland really is a winter wonderland with quiet people that transform into metal monsters after a pint of long drink, topping their days off, baking themselves in human ovens for fun. And with that, we finish the Finnish episode. Ah, you waited for that for over 10 minutes. Stay tuned. The country that must not be named is coming up next.
So, the enemy has already got their siege tower moving up. I'm going to try and see if I can direct some of the fire with...
Right. So, North Macedonia, next up. Well, yeah, guys, that's gonna be it for this episode, and holy cow, I made this episode way too long. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this over lengthened episode, and yeah, goodbye.